This is day 4 of my writing challenge, and just to jump right into it here, I've made a quick change to the way I'm doing videos. So instead of trying to shoehorn a Scrivener tutorial and my challenge information into the same video, I'm going to I'm going to change these videos so that this is mostly just talking about the challenge. I'll talk a little bit about Scrivener, but I'm going to save the heavier Scrivener tutorials for videos of their own because I think it'll just make it a little easier and change the focus just a little bit. Let me turn this music down here just real quick. It's a little loud. And we'll just talk about the day here real quick. So the two pieces of functionality that I wanted to show you real quick is similar to Word, where if you're in a a file, text file as opposed to a folder. If you cut and paste text from a different document, like if you import a Word document or a text document or whatever, and you want to plug it into Scrivener and retain the formatting that you have in Scrivener, like so if you like to use Arial font or whatever, and the file that you're cutting from is different, just like in Word, you can right-click and tell it to paste and match style, and what that'll do is it'll paste the text into Scrivener, into whatever the text is, whatever the style is in here, as opposed to whatever was in the source document. So pasting and matching style will dump that text. This is text that I just had cut and pasted. It'll match whatever is in the file. So that's just a nice, handy little tool for you that I thought I'd show you. The matching style is super handy because that saves you time of having to go up and change the font once you cut and pasted it in or imported it or whatever. The other handy tool that I wanted to show you real quick, and this is for those of you who like to track word counts. So like you're here, if you're in the outline mode, you can see your word counts at a glance, but you can't see the total. So if it's important to you to know what the total is for your different files, that you're working on, not just the word count for each file, but like the total project file, what you can do is you can go over here into the binder and select all the text documents that you want to use. So maybe you want to do, you want to figure out for the first 10 chapters, here's your word count for each one, but you want to know what the total word count is for those particular files. You go up to Project and Project Statistics, click on that, and ignore this top part because we're not compiling just yet, but what you want to look at is the selection. The selection of files that you picked are a total of 13,637 words, 70,000 characters, 34 pages. This is an estimate that you can change. Excuse me. Music got a little enthusiastic tonight for some reason. Sorry about that. It's good music, but a little loud for our purposes. Anyway, so you can change these estimates, I think, in a different file or in a different, yeah, right here you can change it. So, if you think a paperback page is actually 300 words, you can change that. And then go back to statistics. That'll change that just a little bit. So, don't know if that's important to you, the paperback pages or the printed pages, but for the purposes of your word count, though, is you've got, and you can't change that with the window open, but so this way you can pick, like if maybe chapter 1 through 4 are a particular subset of your book, and you want to know what's this particular word count. You can just go up to Project and Statistics and see, oh, that's 4,300 words, 43 and change. Maybe that's important to you. But what I like to do is just quick and dirty grab the. This is click holding down the Shift key to select multiples, or I think holding down the Command key to pick individual ones. If you don't use this key, it's pretty standard keyboard shortcuts. So those are the only pieces of functionality I really wanted to show you. We'll get more into it in different Scrivener tutorials, but those are just quick and easy little tools that are super handy as you're actually making making the manuscript. So today was a day much like Wednesday and Thursday, and in fact, this is probably going to become a recurring theme over the course of this challenge. Is that I'm kind of in a place where a lot of my weeknights are similar. Monday nights are different, and because I go over to a friend's house and we play board games and card games Monday nights. Sometimes role-playing games, but lately we haven't been into role-playing games much. It's been more board games and card games and having dinner together, and it's really nice. But so Monday nights are going to be a little different, and in fact I may not get the videos for Monday night up until Tuesday, but we'll figure that out next week. But for now, anyway, today was pretty much just like yesterday. You know, got up at the same time, got to work at the same time, spent the drive to work, drive home, and lunch break working on outlines and thinking about this book. I think, other than the usual life stuff, this book has been occupying most of my thoughts and the characters and the things that are happening and all that good stuff. So I'm happy that that's going on, because that means I'm really in the flow state and enjoying the process. So we'll jump up to the sprints here. You'll see that there were 3 more sprints today, as usual, and did one between 5 and 5:30 before I had to go pick up Jake at the daycare, and then came home, had dinner. My wife and I continued to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We are now just starting the last season, and so there's 21 episodes left to go. So we're probably going to be done with it in a couple weeks. We'll watch an episode a night. Although sometimes we binge watch just a little bit and watch 2 or 3 episodes together. But just watched one tonight, so you can see there's a second sprint at 8:30 and then another one at 9:40, right there. Yep, pretty much. Sorry, that was my alarm. I don't know why it was on. I must have missed it. But anyway, so 3 more sprints, another hour and a half of riding today. You can see that it's kind of machine-like efficiency, and that's really kind of just how I work, how I've been working over the last couple of years when I get into a writing project and that I'm passionate about, and then I'm outlining. Just I show up at the keyboard with the Neo. I put the work in, and that's really. It sounds kind of boring because maybe you expect the muse to show up and you want to be inspired and you want the angels from on high raining down happy thoughts and inspiration, but honestly, it doesn't always happen that way. Usually, it's just putting the nose to the grindstone and gutting out the work. And now, when I say that, it sounds bad, but really, none of this has been hard at all. I mean, this is, I think, like Dean Wesley Smith says, if you want a hard job, go dig ditches. Go dig ditches for a living. This writing is not hard work. This is, like he says, you get to sit in a room by yourself and make stuff up, and people pay you for it. I mean, that's a that's a pretty sweet job, really. So anyway, here I am. Hour and a half in today. You can see the word sprints right on average, pretty much with the other days. 1,300, 1,400 words a sprint. 42:16 today, and we are at 13,580 for the project so far. That's after 4 days. I'm really. How can I complain about that? I'm thrilled, and I just did some quick math. I don't normally do this, but I like to play with statistics sometimes. So I did the calculator math with my fingers and my toes, and you can see I'm averaging just over 2,700 words an hour, which is, like I said yesterday, pretty much the upper limit of what I can squeeze into a 30-minute session without dictation. Like I said, this is just hands-on keyboard, and not using Dragon or any other software. This is just tippy typing away. So 27.16 an hour, 33.95 a day. That's nicely over my 3,000 words a day challenge level. And then just for grins and giggles, I took the 90,000. My target word count was 90,000. I don't know if I'm going to hit that. I don't have a sense of how long this book is going to be just yet, but it's coming along really nicely. But so estimate 76,000 words to go, and at these current rates, it would take me 22 more days to finish it, and a total of 28 hours, 28.1 hours of work. And that may sound like a lot, but you figure I gave myself the month to do this challenge, and today's the 4th, so that means I've got, let's see, 30 days, September, April, June, and November, so there's 31 days in March. That means I've got 27 days left. So I've got 27 days left in the month, and I'm estimating 28 hours to complete. So, do the math. If I work just a little over an hour a day for every day for the rest of the month, this book will be done. So that should kind of illustrate really how do you say this? Now it's probably not fair to say, but I mean, just it should give you a sense of just how little work you have to put in to put words onto the page, right? I mean, I know that there are plenty of writers out there who stare at the keyboard and stare at the screen for half an hour or 45 minutes or longer, waiting for inspiration to strike, and then they're sitting at the keyboard for 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 hours, breaking their back, hurting their neck and their arms and their hands and everything else. And that's how you work, and that's the best way you work. That's great, but there are other ways, and other writers work differently. And I guess just I don't know if there's any inspiration to be found in that, but just saying, if you can show up to the computer for half an hour a day or an hour a day, and you put some work in, these word counts will start growing. And the other powerful thing about showing up to the keyboard every day is that this is something else that Dean talks about, is the power of streaks and the power of showing up every day. And so right now I've got a streak going of 4 days, 3 streak, 2, well, except for the first day, I've got 3 sprints a day, and this streak is starting to pick up speed and pick up a life of its own, meaning that this weekend I want to make sure that I'm showing up at the keyboard to put my sprints in. In fact, I was thinking about going to a drum circle tonight. I play African djembe drum just for fun and sometimes for church, but I thought about going to a drum circle tonight, and I got home and I was like, you know what? I really want to put the writing in. It would have been a lot of fun to go to the drum circle, but this was really more important to me tonight. So I let that go. Not a big deal. And I put the words in. I'm really happy I got the words in. I feel very accomplished. And I mean, you can see the word counts here. They're just chugging right along here, banging this out. 4,300 yesterday, 42 today. If I can keep this pace going through the weekend, I mean, it's going to be just a great weekend, even with all the stuff we've got planned with cleaning up the house and getting some work done, and maybe going to a little event downtown, and church, a couple church activities on Sunday, and dinner and meals and sleep and all that stuff. So hopefully this illustrates the power of just showing up and writing. And I know it's hard to do sometimes, but if you can make it happen, however it works in your day. I think I watched Chris Fox's video today where he was talking about the power of getting up first thing in the morning and getting your work in, first thing in the morning, because you only have so much. I totally agree with him in that you only have so much word power, only so much willpower in the day, in that every decision you make during the course of the day takes a little bit of that word power, willpower away, and word power too, I guess. So he gets up, early in the morning, goes to the gym and writes until I guess 10 o'clock or noon or whatever, and gets his 6,000 words in, and that's great, because that's a process that has worked very well for him. Now for me, I can't do it. I can't get up that early in the morning and go to the gym and write and get to work on time. That's the difference between a full-time writer and a writer whose day job is writing, and someone like me, and someone like Kevin McLaughlin, who still work a day job and then come home and put the work in. So it's just a different, there's not one right way, there's not a wrong way. It's just whatever works for you. So if you're following along in the challenge and you're being inspired and you're trying to put your own words down, just find what makes you happy, find what works for you, find what works to keep your words flowing on a regular basis, and tell us about it. Post a comment and tell me how you're doing. If you're just following along, or if you're actually writing, whatever, post on the comments on the video, post on keyboards and say hi, send me an email, whatever. I'm doing this mostly for me, but also partly for you, because I want to be inspired by other writers, and I want to inspire other writers. I mean, this is one of the great things about writing that I've discovered over the last 15-20 years, is that the writers ahead of the game and further along the path, the good writers, by and large, reach back and pull along the writers up and coming, and there's a very healthy feeling of paying it forward throughout writerdom. Now, there's some writers who don't do that and work a little differently, but by and large, the writers that I've talked to have been unbelievably generous with their time and education, and the really good ones are in my opinion, are the ones who are not only teaching, but they're also learning. You learn from writers ahead of you. You learn from writers behind you. On the path. Talking about those 4 stages of writers. You might be a high-level stage 4 writer, but there's still something you can learn from somebody new. And I think that's partly the reason that Dean, Wesley Smith, and Chris Rush, they still teach an awful lot of workshops. You could say it's for the money, and I'm sure the money doesn't hurt, but I really believe it. I really believe it when they say that when you teach somebody, you learn something too. There's always a new way to look at things, and there's always a new nugget of insight to get. That's why I like to read a lot of how-to books on writing and outlining, and just talk to other writers at conventions and online and all that stuff. Is that you never know where the next nugget of information is that you'll find that works, speaks to you and works for you. Like these writing sprints. I never thought of writing in sprints until I joined a online community called Codex for science fiction and fantasy writers, and they conducted word sprints on a regular basis, half-hour word sprints, and I tried that a couple times and thought it kind of worked. And then I heard about something called the Pomodoro Technique, which is pretty much the same thing. Write for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. So same basic concept, and just grew from there. That process really worked for me, and if I hadn't been interacting with other writers, I would have never have thought of it, and may never have tried it on my own. And I'd be in a whole different world right now. I wouldn't be putting down these word counts probably, and I'd still probably be fumbling with the massive manuscripts, the big bloody messes of red ink and stuff, and probably not getting anywhere. So anyway, I'm just kind of rambling at this point, because the day is done and the words are in, and the music's on, and I'm thinking about heading to bed pretty soon. But anyway, I hope you get something out of this video. Like I said, drop me a comment, say hey, tell me how you're doing, and happy Friday to you. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope the weather is comfortable wherever you are, whether it's warm or cold or whatever you prefer. It's been cold here in Alexandria the last couple of days, even though we had rain earlier in the week, and almost balmy weather for a couple of days. So the weather's been flip-flopping back and forth, and isn't quite sure what it wants to do, but that's pretty much par for the course around here. So I really hope spring is around the corner pretty soon, because we got the cherry blossoms coming up, so that'll be nice to check out as a break from writing. But in the meantime, I've got a book to write, and I'm hoping that you'll continue to follow me on this journey. And yeah, so happy Friday to you. Have a great weekend, and as always, happy writing.